Got to ask the good football question. This goes back to 2009, 2010 of the runner up teams. And sometimes I get asked, a question of if the runner up teams, who were the better? And I like these kind of questions. So I got the pick between Arizona, who lost that close game 27-23 to Pittsburgh. Some people think the Steelers cheated that Super Bowl. That's still debatable. There was some suspect calls. Crazy game because that's when Harris with that, remember that 103-yard interception return? That was crazy. That was crazy. That run back was crazy. Uh that game had, and of course at that time, Roethlisberger came up big in that game. Um, he won at the end. It was a big game. It was a big turning point. I think it's Antonio Holmes, who I was calling him like a link between Robert Ory and James Posey, a guy that finishes up in the postseason because he had that touch. So it was a crazy ending to that game. But anyway, um, which who did I think that when I'm talking about the Colts, they lost 31-17 to New Orleans. And I'll never forget that game because it started the second half, the offside kick, which is one of the best offside kicks I've seen in a Super Bowl. That one and that one with the Steelers and the Cowboys. The Saints needed something to turn their fortunes around, and it was huge for them. It was very, very, very huge. It was like a turning point. That's how they were able to pull that game off. So um, that was a very turning point. Drew Brees played pretty good in the game. Peyton Manning. Now I'm gonna do the statistical standpoint for you, statistical wise. Um, Kurt Warner had 377 in his loss. Peyton Manning had 333. Both were plagued by turnovers because I mentioned that 103-yard return. Peyton Manning threw that interception to Tracy Porter, ran back for 74 yards. That was the game sealer right there. So they each had a big turnover, which changed the fortunes of the game. Which team do I think was the better of those two runner ups? I gotta say Arizona. I think Peyton Manning's quarterbacking was still good, but Joseph Adai did pretty good on the ground. But I didn't think they necessarily did a lot in the air, considering how dominant Peyton Manning was as a quarterback. Larry Fitzgerald showed out in that Super Bowl, and it would have been interesting had Arizona won that Super Bowl. Who would have gotten the MVP? Would have been Kurt Warner, would have been Larry Fitzgerald, because they showed out. They showed out. They showed out in that Super Bowl. It was a great game in the sense that it was like I said, a couple mistakes. That's what it was. But who do I think would win if it was out those two teams? Like if those two teams played neutral, then and who did I think would win? And remember, AFC NFC again. So no, who do I think would win? Um, I think Arizona would have won that if it had been out those two. Um, if I was putting the '09 Cardinals against the 2010 Colts, I think I'd take the '09 Cardinals. I just think there was something about that Warner played great. He fit good in Arizona. And he almost had one of the best. He could have almost beaten Peyton Manning to win in a ring, and Brady too, going to another place, especially when you consider he was a top flight quarterback with the greatest show on turf with the St. Louis Rams and been league MVP, and he was. Let me get it straight. Where was he at when he looked horrible? I think it was with the Giants. He went. He stunk before he got to Arizona. He stunk. So he was definitely like, and he got to Arizona. It revived him, and it nearly, if he pulled that off, we'd be talking about him maybe in a different light. So anyway, yeah, I would take the '09 Cardinals over the 2010 Colts if we are going to do the runner up. We're doing two teams runner up. Because I'm gonna do like a year to year thing, and this is a new segment where I'm doing like the team that runner up against the team the next year's runner up, and who would I pick? I think Arizona would still be my pick overall. Because that James Harrison, that interception was a turning point really in that game. I think more so than the Terry C. Porter one because the Saints were already up. As Arizona scores, at least gets a field goal, that's a different ball game. Remember, Pittsburgh won with the like by 4 at the end. New Orleans won that game over the coast by 14. And I'm looking at the stylings, you know, and New Orleans just didn't allow uh, Peyton Manning. Sean Payton did a great job on defense, you know. Just like Mike Tomlin called some great plays on defense for the Steelers, their defense came up right when they needed to. So, anyway, let me know what you think. Who would you pick? The '09 Arizona Cardinals or the 2010 Indy Colts if there was a battle of the runner-ups to win the Super Bowl? It's a good segment. Please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another. Share it if you like and hit that membership because when you do requests like this come true, stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm out. Peace.